Oh, what's going on?
Not much. Been a couple weeks.
Yeah. Uh,
Last time we talked, I think Joe Biden was still running for president.
yeah. What was the beginning of the end for America?
What was the beginning of the end?
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean. We haven't seen the end yet, so we don't know where the beginning could have started.
You think United States still is a model for other countries to follow?
Um, is the United States still a model for kind of the countries to follow? Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Okay. I don't think United States of the 80s is as proud as United States of today, or even I would argue the last 6 years.
I mean, it could be worse. You could be arrested for retweeting something like they're doing in Britain.
Mm, you don't think Trump meant something when he campaigned for his first presidency when he said "Make America Great Again"?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I get that. But I don't know. I guess I'm mostly of the opinion that things are kind of working somewhat fine. The one big glaring issue is the national debt, but aside from that, I'm not. I think things are fine. There's a lot of one of the good things about the way we're set up with
Mm,
different states and different independent states, not being a purely federalist system is or federal system or whatever is different states have different rules and different ways of living for different kinds of people. So
how are things fine if the United States is in debt every I don't know how many months? They there's always a threatened government shutdown due to finances or budget.
yeah,
Social Security is known to run out. I thought within another. I'm not sure when they forecast, but I thought it's going to be soon.
yeah. I don't.
How,
I mean,
how is everything fine?
yeah. I mean, I like I said, I think it could be worse. We live in a pretty good if you look at kind of the overall just
Yeah,
situation. I don't. I mean, there's a lot of things like we're not a third world country, so you
we're
take
doing
out
better in
that.
Nigeria.
Yeah. Um, I guess the other question is name something a country that's doing a lot better. And then you start to look at the kind of edges or fringes of what they have to deal with and things. You're doing trade-offs for a lot of things.
Okay, well let's take that. How is Sweden doing? Let me see. I don't even know how to spell Sweden.
Sweden's got a huge immigration problem, just like most of Europe does. Um,
What they're letting in a lot of Africans.
I would assume more Middle Easterners, but they are having problems with that kind of a thing.
Same thing. Sweden.
Actually, it's kind of weird. Like you look at what
Uh,
Britain and Sweden are for, like all of most of them. The Eastern European countries are the only ones that are really kind of staving off their own the destruction of their own native populations at this point.
Sweden's economic freedom score is 77.5,
Oh, and
making it.
Switzerland's fine though, but they've always been fine. A rich country. They actually have a pretty good system. I'd give people always point to Switzerland, and I think it's just stupid, or Sweden rather. Switzerland is got a pretty good system of government, and they're set up as a neutral country in pretty much every scenario, and they're like this World Bank, so it's like they've got a lot of money flowing through them. It's Switzerland's a I would look at Switzerland as an okay thing, but Sweden and half of the other countries probably not.
Well, Switzerland's population is almost 9 million people.
Switzerland's is
Yeah,
so it's like what, New York City?
I thought New York was like 12 million. I don't know, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah, it's a smaller country. Sure. I mean that's one of the other rubs too, is we're pretty big in terms of like population. So not as big as China, obviously, in terms of just raw people, but land mass and resources and all that kind of thing. I don't know. There's also kind of another thing in that it's the debt, I believe, is mostly to ourselves. Actually, people in the United States, their 401ks and like all that buy up treasury bills.
The debt isn't to China.
And some of it's China, but a lot of it's just back to ourselves. Um, so, but I don't like Social Security. I wish. I think it was when Newt Gingrich was running for president against, I think it was Romney at the time, and I really really liked his plan, which is I guess what they do in Chile, is for Social Security, is the idea that instead of putting the money into a government lockbox, quote unquote lockbox, instead of just taxing into there, you have the requirement to, or like you could do that, I suppose, or you could choose to invest that money into the private markets, and then what the government does is they say, well, we're not going to we're going to cover any amount that you would have made if less, um, if you had put it into like Social Security. So if you made 100,000 or whatever, and you would have gotten, you know, 200,000 if it was in Social Security because you had huge losses or something like that, they'd cover the 100,000 from there. I don't know. It's basically they cover the difference at the end, um, from between what your private market investments can do, and
Who covers it? I'm confused.
this is like Chile's system of like Social Security. I guess I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I know that when Newt Gingrich was running, he's talked about it, but so that like instead of putting it into Social Security, what you could do is take that money, put it into private investments,
Mm.
and if those private investments come up short for you to be retired, then then they cover the difference. The government does. So rather than having Social Security just being this big pool and then not doing anything, and now you're just paying out a bunch, um, you actually have a chance for the money to do some good and to actually put you into a good situation when you're retired. But I don't know. We can't get that because people you start talking about changing Social Security or redefining it, and people freak out. It's like even if you're like, we're not going to touch it for old people, they're like, don't touch it. It's like we're not touching it for you. But no, you touch it, you're not, you can't touch it. It's like it's an irrational fear, because if you know a system's broken and you can come up with ideas for a better one, you should at least pilot it. Like I,
Mm.
I don't know. That's why like it'd be I don't know. It'd be good if we did more. The government had more ability to do experimental laws. Like we're going to take, and the states are supposed to do this somewhat, but even at the federal level, like we're going to take a subset of people and enroll them into this optionally, and then you A/B test compared to what you have, and then see if what the new law is better, and then you can choose to bring everyone up rather than just kind of forcing everyone into something that's potentially bad. So
I
Anyways,
started I started watching television again.
TV, like
Yeah,
air TV, like
I've been
or
watching
like
Amazon Prime
okay, so streaming
faithfully
services.
every night.
What are you watching?
The Man in the High Castle.
Oh yeah, I made it through like half of season 2, and then I didn't follow. I should finish it. I heard the next season's supposed to be really good after that.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
I'm halfway through season two. It's weird because I actually plan to watch it every evening.
you have it on your calendar, like work finishes,
I get
Man in
off
the High
work.
Castle.
I get off work. I'm like, oh crap. I need to work out. Man, I hate working out. Well, if I if I work out, then I can reward myself by watching the next episode, Man on the High Castle, or in the High Castle. Like I always have to like mind hack myself.
I that show, like I got engaged right away with that. Remember that scene where he drives across the United States and then he ends up in the Midwest,
in,
and
in the very first episode.
the ashes is raining down on him.
Yeah, I think
He's like,
you
"Oh,
told me about that before.
that's the day."
Yeah, he's
That's
like
the
the elderly and cripples,
yeah. Like,
the
whoa.
state trooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started laughing.
hmm I don't think the Japanese side would be so bad to be on. The German side would be was a little terrible.
Um,
It seemed like the
well,
Japanese side in that you could kind of live your life, but then like you just have to make sure that you're nice to the Japanese and
yeah,
subservient to them.
as a
But
civilian,
yeah,
but who would you rather be tortured by during World War II? The the Nazis or the Japanese?
I don't think I'd rather be tortured by either of them.
I'd rather be tortured by the Nazis. The Japanese had the death marches, right?
I think so. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, they would march them for like 20 miles a day, and if people started slowing down, they just shoot them on the spot.
Yeah. But ugh, yeah, I don't know. In that show, anyways, the Japanese side seemed to be like the nicer side to be on, or you could be in the mountains. That like free zone, or like the no combat zone between that. I didn't understand that part of the way that they constructed that world. Like when they just have a border, a normal border, or the Rockies too hard to like the mountains too hard to like subdue the populations in, so they just like, oh, we'll just leave it.
I'm not sure.
Hmm. But yeah, I don't know. That show became, I guess it's like a sci-fi thing, and I never put that together. I thought it was literally at the beginning just like an alternate universe thing, but it is a whole sci-fi thing. So, but I never got to the end of it. Maybe
Yeah,
one day I'll pick it up
I'm
again.
noticing in season two, it's starting to feel more like a it's starting to feel more like a soap opera than season one. Like they're inventing they're adding a lot of personal love stories and stuff like that. Like with the older
Yeah,
Japanese man, the
yeah,
trade minister.
yeah. Like I said, I think that they set up for from what I heard, that season sets up for a very good third season, but I couldn't make it through it. So, why'd you start watching shows again?
Mm, a colleague. He knows I'm in. So at nighttime, when I don't have someone else in my bed, I usually fall asleep to either astronomy um, videos where I just listen to the audio,
hmm
or I listen to like World War II or Civil War um, historians talk about battles or talk about the reason why one party went to war with another party. And so I find World War II very fascinating. I find that world leaders back in the day tend to be more fascinating because, I mean, like Hitler was operating as a general, maybe because he was a soldier in the First World War. And I just find it fascinating that Hitler was actually designing battles and making decisions on what battalions go where, or at least he was participating in it. Um, where like a lot of modern leadership, they're lawyers, they're not soldiers. They likely don't have a clue how to orchestrate a war. They don't make strategic decisions about where to send battalions and where to set up defenses.
Hmm.
But your Hitlers, your Stalins, your whoever the UK, I should know his name, but I don't. That cripple guy. They were all like heavily involved in
The cripple
planning,
guy.
executing the war. Who's the guy that starved like
Well,
a couple of
FDR, but
Indians? No,
cr-
British, British,
you mean
British president. I don't know his name.
the Prime Minister of Britain, like
Sure,
during that time? Oh God,
the
why am
Fuhrer
I?
of Great Britain. Yeah,
What? The
the
fear.
Fuhrer of Great Britain.
Oh God, why am I spacing on his name? I can see his face even.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my God, Churchill.
yeah.
There we go.
Winston Churchill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Churchill was an
So
interesting guy.
I just find it fascinating that presidents, prime ministers today, they're all lawyers. And I'm not confident that they have a clue about the strategy of war and where to place their soldiers, how to place your defense or provide your defense. But during World War II, or maybe even all previous wars, potentially, like these presidents were heavily involved in the planning of defense and attacks, like
Hmm.
like in the war room, with the little figures, and I just find that fascinating.
Hmm.
That's not how it is today. We have lawyers.
Yeah, was Eisenhower the last general that was a president?
No, Eisenhower, I thought he died and someone else took over, right?
Well, he was the last. Not, well, I don't think he died in office, but was he the last president wwho was also a general?
During World War II, American president died in office. Which one was that? Was that FDR?
FDR?
And
Yeah, it would have been
Eisenhower took
FDR.
over?
Truman took over,
I don't
and
know.
Truman
He's
was replaced. I think Eisenhower became after Truman, but
okay.
Eisenhower was, um, I think he was a general. But has there been any other general since? Because I know there's Grant, who was a general. I don't know if I guess I
I
could just
think I
get
think
it.
George Bush number two. I think he was a Coast Guard or something.
He was in the Air Force. I want to say
Same thing.
no, they're not distinction. Let's see. So Washington, Ulysses S. Grant, and Dwight Eisenhower were definitely generals. There have been 13 presidents who have held the general officer rank. So
Ronald Reagan.
let's see. So George Washington was, Ulysses S. Grant was, those were general of the armies. Um, Eisenhower was, and then those were the ones that were general. There were major generals: Andrew Jackson, Harrison, Zachary Taylor, Garfield, and Taft.
Of course, we'll go to South
Brigadier
Carolina.
generals were there: Franklin Pierce. Who even knows who Franklin Pierce is? Why is that name? Chester A. Arthur, Andrew Johnson, Rutherford B. Hayes, and Ben Harrison. And there's colonels: Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Polk, Roosevelt, Truman. Commander: Lyndon B. Johnson and Nixon. Lieutenant Commander: Millard Fillmore, McKinley, Ford. Captain Lieutenants. Let's see. Ronald Reagan was a captain in the Air Force. Lincoln was. But yeah, I mean, not even just general. Like, I'm assuming that Abraham Lincoln had a huge part in Civil War movements and
You
stuff
think
like
that
that
should be
too.
a requirement?
What, military service?
Yes, to be a president.
President? No.
I think
It,
so.
I think the entire idea, of our presidency is that it's a civilian, that the people are the voice for it.
No, I think if a president is the commander in chief and makes a decision to go to war, I think they have to literally experience bodies around them and being shot at.
Well, that
I
would be
really
a
do.
that would assume then that you always have perpetual war then.
We do.
Not under Trump, we didn't.
We weren't in Afghanistan when Trump was there.
Oh,
We
we were,
absolutely
but
were.
yeah, but the plans were being laid to come out in a good way, in like in an insane way.
If you're going to be president, I think that it's required that you have military service, not selective service, military service.
Oh.
You should see bullet riddled bodies. You should see kids standing over their mothers and fathers gunned down. You should see all that. You should see the horrors of war.
Yeah, I do think that you should, in order to be in any body of government, you should have to sign up for the selective service. At least
I think
have
if
some
you,
skin in the game.
I think if you're to be a registered voter, then you're supposed to at least
Yeah, that
have a
too.
have an IQ test and selective service. Right now,
Well,
women
selective
don't.
service at least, because it's at least then you have some skin in the game in terms of like, and they should probably make the selective service range go up into like, because theoretically, like the selective service ends at what was it, like 35 or something like that is when you're out. Like you don't get, but that should literally be a lifetime thing. It's just they like prioritize the tiers, so that there's always the chance you could be, even when you're like 100 years old, you could still be drafted. But it's like you're not going to be because of the tier system.
Mm,
Like
you'll
we
just be
will
used as
take
a
everyone
shield.
from this pool first, and then if that fails, we'll go to this pool, which is technically the way it is anyways. But I like the idea of having everyone have some sort of a chance of going to war if they vote for a war. Like, defense is another thing, and most of the time, if it's a defensive situation, there's going to be so many people signing up for it anyways to just go, because people tend to be, very brave about that. But um,
Yeah, before they start seeing bodies flying all over the place.
well, I mean, after 9/11, there's a huge amount of people sign up for service, because it was deemed as a defensive situation at that point. So, anyways,
Mhm.
but I think there's a call for speakers opening up in about a week that I'm gonna try to apply to at Code Mash conference.
What would you talk about?
So I think I might want to try to submit a talk on WebRTC. It's something I've wanted to dig more into, but I haven't had a reason to. So one thing about conferences is if you want to learn a new technology, there's nothing better than signing up for a conference talk and then having to learn it to teach it or to give us a talk about it.
I've been I've been involuntarily learning soap for like the past 6 weeks. Fucking hate it.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
Oh, it sucks when you're forced to hop on a call for user acceptance testing with external parties and you have no clue. I hate it.
Give me your wisdom.
I hate it. I'm supposed to be the go-to person for integration. I hate it.
Soap isn't that. I mean, it's literally just delivering XML content over a particular. Yeah, like what's so the big deal with it? It's heavy, but I mean, why do you hate it so much?
because it's unfamiliar
Oh,
and it's not rest compliant. It's just
well,
it's
yeah,
a
it's not Rest. Rest came out after,
it's
or I
a
mean,
it's an umbrella. Well, it's not HTTP compliant. It's as in protocol compliant,
yeah, you can do
right?
SOAP over different transports. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a transport mechanism or umbrella, whether you want to do email, HTTP, etc. And so you're not. It just it's going to return 500 or like 200. That's it.
Hmm.
No 400s. No 200 or 500. And so there's just a lot of finessing I have to do with it. And then like your self action, whether you put it in the header or you put it in the URL, is the actual resource component of your URL. I just hate it, man.
Well, I mean, with Rest, it's supposed to be a resource too. Rest is all about
No.
resourcing.
That's depending on what. Yeah. Okay. You know what? We'll trade positions. You do soap.
No, I've done SOAP before. I've mostly just forgot about it though because
No. You be the point of contact. You be the support person for soap. You go on Azure, and whenever someone says that they can't connect, and they give you some rudimentary Java centric error message, and
yeah,
you're a .NET developer, you investigate it.
yeah. I don't know. I heavily associate Java with SOAP for some reason too. They all feel like they're this heavy, disgusting. Like I don't know. Like .NET could have been that way, but it feels like it escaped that. But I don't know. Ugh.
You know, you could tell how much I hate that part of what I do.
I just hate how Java has they have beans and they talk about
That's not a
beans.
silly thing, is it?
Java beans? Yeah, I think so.
That was in my college. When I was in college, it was like enterprise Java beans. I bought this Dytel book that was this fat. I think did we not all learn programming with Java first?
No,
Okay.
I didn't. They didn't actually. I don't know that they had a Java course at my college.
At Cleveland State, Java was the language that they used.
Yeah, Java's a dominant language for most colleges. I don't know
Well,
if
it's probably
where
Python
I
now,
was a
right?
little bit. So I learned Python as my first, and then C++ as my second, and then that's kind of like what we use generally. And then there was other like we had like I had a VB class and um gosh, did I do anything else? But now it's mostly Python and C++. But
I
yeah,
think
I think
Emma is
is the most Python is the most dominant language now, isn't it?
a language that I've never written before.
Yeah, Python's it's a good scripting language. It's a lot you can do with it. It's easy to learn. It's I don't know. It's good. So
Surprised you still have the drive to. Oh yeah, so what's WebRTC or whatever you said?
so WebRTC is the technology that would be powering stuff like this. At least part of StreamYard here, I'm guessing, uses WebRTC. So anytime you're dealing with like um,
Sockets.
like it's web real time communication. So if you're dealing with like video or voice over a website like we're doing here, um, or if you're dealing with um, like have you been in apps where you'll see someone else's like mouse cursor going around the screen while you're interacting with, like, in Figma or like um,
Remote desktop.
Miro or anything like that. Real time boards where you've got like a people people editing something in real time together.
Hmm.
Like all that uses WebRTC, I'm pretty sure. I mean,
Sounds
unless they're
boring.
building some sort of thing. I don't know. The idea of building like your own Zoom app or building something where you have collaborative like editing or collaborative
No,
games.
look, this is what you do. You should you should revoke your submission,
I
and you
haven't
should,
submitted.
yeah, good. You should submit.
I have
You
to
start
submit like three,
you
apparently,
yeah, yeah. So
or
you can
more.
keep RTC, but you should update the title using RTC for a porn site.
Yeah. Actually, so the streaming services are different because we don't tend to use um, you don't tend to use WebRTC for streaming because it's so WebRTC is more for peer-to-peer real-time communication, but streaming is like a one to potentially many. Um, so it's I don't know. I did a proof of concept for a thing where basically you do a web use WebRTC to get your video in the browser because that's the only real good way to grab video in the browser is to use WebRTC. And then it converted it to video and then uploaded that to a streaming site or to a place, streamed it basically, and then that turned around and streamed it out to everyone using that streaming protocol. So um, it's pretty sweet.
So
But it's hard. It's actually hard to do go live from the browser because you have to have essentially you have to have somebody listening in and turning that into an actual stream.
I'm gonna read you. So I've been periodically chatting with
Eastern European lady.
a CTO, I think a junior CTO, and hopefully he won't get mad at me for sharing this. He sent me
I'll just keep them
his
anonymous.
stack for a platform that they're going to build. I'm just going to read it. So for the front end, Next.js for server-side rendering and static site generation. React.js for building a responsive and interactive user interface. Three.js for 3D visualization of site data.
Hmm.
Tailwind CSS
Yep.
for styling and design consistency. TypeScript for type safety and
Hmm.
a better development experience. So that's the front end technologies. All of that is the front end technologies.
Yep.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not
It's pretty standard. Yeah.
for the back end. Node.js/Express for server-side processing and API integrations. Python for data processing and analysis tasks using libraries like Pandas and GDAL.
Hmm.
Rust for high performance API routes and computational tasks. Optional, can be used for performance/critical endpoints. For the database, so that was all the backend stuff.
Yeah.
Node.js,
Rust is the only
Python,
thing that's
Rust.
surprising there.
For the database, Supabase, which is post
sounds like a sounds like a really bad rap song.
yeah,
Super bass.
Su-
So-
Supabase, and then within parentheses, PostgreSQL with PostGIS for storing and querying geospatial data,
okay.
authentication, role level security, and document storage.
Super bass.
Vector database is also going to be used, integrated with Supabase for storing and querying high dimensional data, and then MySQL for additional data storage needs if required. And then for so that was the database part. And then for data aggregation and APIs, geospatial data, specifically Google Maps API, OpenStreetMap API for maps and satellite imagery. For zoning and land use, local government APIs for zoning regulations and land use data. For climate data, Open Weather Map API for weather and climate information. For for I can't say the word topo
Topography.
yeah for
Topography.
topography and soil, USGS API, and then for utilities and infrastructure, local utility provider APIs for data on water, sewer, gas, electricity. And then for data processing and analysis, geospatial analysis specifically, tools like QGIS or custom built algorithms to analyze topography, I don't know why I can't say the word, hydrology and infrastructure. For environmental analysis, integration of environmental databases for vegetation, wildlife, whatever. For cloud services, Vercel for hosting the Next.js front end,
Hmm.
AWS or Google Cloud. I think Google Cloud is a joke, but for
Yeah, I
hosting
really
the
don't know
application,
why
storing
anyone would use
data,
a Google Cloud.
Microsoft Azure for additional cloud services and IoT device. For additional tools, Prisma for ORM, which is object relational mapping to interact with the database. Cloudinary for handling video uploads and management. Turbo Repo for managing monorepo structure and enhancing developer productivity. GraphQL slash Apollo for managing data fetching and caching in the front end. And then analytics to track user interactions and application performance. Those are all the technologies for this solution.
Hmm. I mean, it sounds pretty standard, but
It's an
I mean,
entire IT department.
you can tell what they're basically going into, but or what they're doing is something with GIS. But I mean, eh, yeah, it is an entire IT department. Like nobody knows all of those things. I cringe at like the idea. So we've talked about at our my organization about using Tailwind and starting to introduce Tailwind, and I'm just like, it's like I don't want to be the guy who's like, oh no, let's not use a new tech because I want to use different techs in places too. But I'm just like, Tailwind is like is like another language you have to learn, and if you know it already, great. But for and I'm assuming that you just have to make the leap from CSS, but it's like I just don't want to. It's like I just don't want to. It's not like using another like like another like framework or something to like to try to like to organize things differently or something like that. It's like you literally are learning another language. It's like God darn it, I don't want to. I just want to use CSS and just call it a day. With a little bit of SCSS. Why not? Yes.
Yeah. So I'm like, I think I named off like 15 different technologies.
Yeah, I'd understand. It depends on the use case. I guess I could understand having Rust for like they said, if they needed some sort of like high
He said for
power
API routing.
computational. Yeah, for API routing, I'm
I don't know
trying
what
to
that means.
understand why you would use Rust for that. I mean, you could use it to build a system to do that, but I just don't understand why you wouldn't just use something else. I don't know. I guess the use cases, it depends on the use cases. But
I think it's resume driven development.
yeah, I don't know. I think we should try to make our stacks as simple as possible. It'd be just great.
Do you know anybody that still programs in Visual Basic .NET?
No, I know that they exist, but I don't know. I don't know any of them. I think there's a lot of HR systems that
Yeah, I
are
think
built
they're
on
working
VB.
out of nursing homes. They have a IT department in nursing homes. They're doing Visual Basic .NET.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of legacy code out there with VB in it. But the thing about .NET that's nice is that if you wanted to, you could just switch to C# just over time because they're compatible. So
No, you said that wrong. They can switch
You
to F
can risk F sharp,
sharp.
but ain't nobody doing that. Yeah, talk
And
about
that was one of the biggest mind leaps I had to make.
is that no one's gonna let you like
I
that C
usually,
sharp is what you just kind of have to lean into it.
yeah, it's so bad that like I find it even hard to write automated tests in F sharp for employers.
Yeah, but you can write JavaScript all day if you want. TypeScript though, TypeScript's pretty good, but
So apparently, with Oracle databases, the
Oracle's
parameter the parameter order matters, even though you have the name of the columns and the value that you're assigning to that field. It still matters the order of the parameters for the stored procedure that you're executing. Do you know how long it took me to find that out? I don't think it's the
Yeah, I
same
don't know.
thing
I
in
haven't dealt
SQL
with
Server
yeah, I don't know. I haven't
or
dealt with
Transact SQL, should I say?
yeah, I haven't done that much work with stored procedures. So luckily, I mean, my last gig had a bunch of stored procedures, but I've otherwise like
I
stayed away from
question
them.
I question my life's decisions.
You need to reignite your actual desire to write code one day. I don't know.
Well,
I'm
I
right
mean,
there
what?
with you though. It's tough.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago I was doing a chess kata.
Yeah. Did you ever
That was
finish that?
nope.
See
Uh,
that
I
you
mean, but
should write.
that was interesting because I could keep working on that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to model a system. Like that's the funnest thing in the world is to me is modeling systems like
Uh,
and stuff. But it's like the opportunity to actually do that kind of stuff is few and far between. Like I'm a little bit like I'm gonna see how this project goes that I'm on now because so I've been at my gig now for a year as of 2 days ago. I've been on like I've done a lot of miscellaneous things, but I've been on two kind of projects, but I joined them like after they already got going. So there's no chance to do any modeling. I'm just literally just a workhorse, basically. Um, so this time, this next one that I'm on, I'm supposed to be like able to get in there and actually help define the solution for it. So, but I don't know. It was kind of like one of these things where on Monday I got this idea that we're supposed to get going on it, and then like a meeting happens without me, and then it's like I still haven't heard boo about it, and so I'm worried that I'm just gonna be like coasting back, and suddenly I'll be like given here's the solution. I'll be like, well, fuck, I don't get to do anything. I don't know. It might be time for me to start looking. Although the job market's shit right now, but
you
I don't
just
know.
you've only been at this job for 1 year and you're already trying
I
to quit.
know. I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm giving it
Slacker.
fair chances, and so I mean, I like the job in general. I don't know. I'm not like, I'm just not, I'm just not like fired up about work any day. And I don't know. Maybe that's just the career, like the job at software development in general. But I don't wake up thinking like, oh yeah, I get to do this today. It's like, oh yeah, I have to do this today.
I can't
So
wait to have our daily stand up. Oh, I'm so
yeah,
amped.
well, we don't have no. I mean, that's some good things. Like, we don't have daily stand-ups. We have like a sync meeting like once a week, and
Okay.
we just like chat otherwise. And we have like a thing on Slack, like if you need anything, put it here. But we don't really have a. We have a daily Slack. Are you blocked by anything? So people are kind of generally um, permitted to kind of do their own thing and just keep working towards whatever the goal is. We
How's your
don't do a
dog?
lot of prioritization and stuff.
How's
Grooming.
how's your dog? I forgot his name. It wasn't feet, foot.
Both of them. I've got
What?
Reggie and Charlie.
How's Reggie?
Reggie's good. He's a
He's
good
double
pup.
in size again.
No, no, I think he's kind of leveled out now. He's a big dog, but he's not gonna be huge. So I mean, he's not a small dog, but I don't know. I'm thinking he's gonna cap around 70 pounds. I'm guessing. I don't think he's gonna get much bigger than
Oh
that.
yeah, 70 pounds isn't a lot. Yeah,
Well, like my dog growing up was like 100 pounds. Some other dogs have been around 100 pounds.
my
I
dog was.
wanted him to get bigger. I want him to be 100 pound. I want him to be able to run into someone and just knock him over. He's my guard. He'll be my guard dog if anyone breaks in. Hopefully, he'll attack with fierce ferocity. Although I haven't really seen. He has a lot of playfulness in him, but I haven't seen any aggression yet. So I don't know if he'd. I don't know if he, in terms of like towards people, like growling. I don't know that I've heard him growl. Come to think of it,
I would tickle my dog, and she would growl,
yeah,
show her teeth. I'm like tickle, 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 and I'm busy like digging my fingers into her armpits, and she's like making these demonic noises with her fangs hanging out.
yeah,
It's interesting how like as an owner, you know your dog, and as much as your dog may be scary to other people by showing its teeth and growling, you know nothing's going to happen.
yeah, yeah. I know. Yeah, there was some times when I first with this dog first, whenever, because he gets playful, and he barks, and his bark is intimidating. Like he's got a deep, like loud bark, and for a while I got, and knowing that he's got pit bull in him too, I got a little. Not that there's anything like that breed is very good as long as the owners are good. Like they just have the capability of being very very aggressive, or not aggressive. They have the ability to hurt people like very badly
Mm.
compared to some other dog breeds. That's just it's like the potential's there. That doesn't mean that it ever expresses itself or that there's some inherent expression within that breed. But
Yeah, it's like black
just
people.
knowing that, yeah, just knowing that, yeah, of course, knowing that, and
They
that's
have
why I
the
got a black
propensity.
dog.
They have
I
the
knew it.
propensity for violence.
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah, you're getting yourself in trouble. You're like,
yeah.
yeah.
You're the one who started it. I know. But yeah, I just there were some times where I was like, okay, settle down, especially around the kids. Like, be careful, dog. But he's mellowed down since we've got the other dog too. He seems to be a lot more willing to like come inside and listen. Um, I don't know if it's because he's got to compete for attention now or what, but since we've got the other dog, he's been a lot more chill, I guess. So, how about you? When you're gonna get your dog? You gonna fly out to Georgia and buy one yet? See if they got any out on.
Dude, I'm thankful that I have income coming in so I could pay my bills, but I'm not balling like I used to. I don't I don't really have disposable income. I had disposable income when I was making like a quarter of a million. I don't have that anymore.
You didn't save when times were bad so
I
that you
was
could.
saved. I like looking at money more than I like spending it. I did save, but like you invested, it gets wiped out. That and the IRS, they're going to kick in your door if you don't pay them.
Yeah, they do that.
Like I paid in taxes what an average citizen will gross in an entire year. So yeah,
What was
remember I'm
that? What
court to
was that?
court.
What kind of dog was he again? Or was your dog?
Miniature bull terrier. I
Bull,
love that dog, man.
miniature bull terrier. Let's see. So there's one in Tennessee. There's litters in Tennessee,
They're hard to find.
Kansas,
And now
Washington.
the market rate is like 30, 32, $3,400 now.
For one, no, you can get some that are cheaper if you're willing
What
to go
what
to
are what
Kansas
other
or
prices
Texas.
do they have?
So there are some that are 3,500, like you said. There's some that are 850. There's two in Kansas City that are 850.
And they have papers
Thousand,
papers of authenticity.
12. 29, 35, 1,000, 49 in this one. This one's that's because it's a chalk and blue one.
49.99, or are you talking about $5,000?
4,900. Yeah, 5,000. They went there. Yeah. Looks like yeah, they're
I
all
think
kind
their
of in the
litters are smaller.
Midwest.
Like they're hard to find, man. I don't know why. I
Here, we'll
almost
look.
never see them in Florida.
Do you like the white one? The white mini bull terriers?
No, I don't like all white because they're usually deaf and blind or whatever.
So you like more
They're
of
they
the
like the Nazis would get rid of it. Remember the remember the ashes
yeah.
coming from the
Oh
skies.
jeez.
Oh, the cripples and the elderly. No, I like I prefer the white and I prefer my dog the white and brown.
White and brown. This one's like a white and gray. I see. So you like this one? All right.
I mean, anything but white,
The
anything but all white.
local delivery. They have some that I guess they'll do delivery on. I don't know. That'd be kind of scary for a pup, wouldn't it be? To have it delivered to be delivered.
Man, I used to board my dog in cargo before I finally got my emotional support paperwork done.
Bristol, Tennessee, local delivery. They're so funny looking mini bull terriers.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I really love that dog.
Yeah. It's too bad that they have to go on us. I don't know. I haven't really bonded with our new dog very much. Um,
You don't take it
yeah,
out. You don't take it with you camping.
we do. We do. I just haven't, like, I don't know. The wife and kids, it's kind of their dog. I like the, I don't know. He's cute and all, and he's funny at times. Like last night I caught him. He's went over to this kennel we have set up, and there's like a bed inside of it, and he just started laying it and going, and just making these weird freaking noises. I'm like, oh god, what the hell is he doing over there?
Did you
But
brand it yet?
brand it
Yeah,
with a stick, like a poker
yeah,
stick.
branding iron. Yeah.
No, I don't do that.
Oh, so you just rely on the collar.
Why?
You don't
Yeah,
brand it. You don't brand it with your name
we
and
have a
phone number.
microchip. They are microchipped, but um,
No, you should do it the old school way. Just your name and phone number, and just brand it on its neck or something.
no, I don't think so. But
I think. I think in marriage it should be a common practice to brand your wife. It is supposed to be a lifelong commitment.
no.
People get tattoos with names, but no, you should burn it into them, keloids and everything. So
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think
reminds me of
that's.
that movie with the Dookie Howser character, Harold and Kumar, where he branded a prostitute at the brothel.
Oh,
I don't know if
I
you
don't
saw that
remember that
movie.
scene. I remember the movie, but I don't remember that scene. Was that
Oh,
like a second or third one?
we can try to find it. I have impeccable memory when it comes to movies. Hold up. He is old now. He's probably in a nursing home.
So while you're looking that up, so you watching Man on the High Castle. Have you watched like
How do you spell Harold and Kumar? Is that how you spell Harold?
yeah have you watched Band of Brothers at all? That
Not.
series?
I think I watched the first minute of it, and then I wasn't interested.
Oh, okay. Band of Brothers is kind of cool because they had these like wars and stuff, but they had the people who actually served in some of them.
I don't know how
Like
you spell
they talk at
brothel.
the beginning of it. Brothel therapy. Oh yeah, maybe it was Escape from Guantanamo, maybe not the first one. Sally.
Let's see. uh,
Ugh. This funny thing about him too is he's that guy's gay, Neil Patrick Harris, but he plays like a womanizer in half his friggin' shows.
can you hear the audio?
No.
Oh shoot! Hold up. Take two. Let's try this again.
Speaking of my dog, I hear him barking now. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Girls, Longhorns coming through.
I don't think I watched any of the Harold and Kumar's other than the first
I'm
one.
gonna watch it this evening, man.
Bigger. Hello. Bye. What's your name, miss?
Tits Hemingway.
How'd you come up with that?
Well, I have huge tits. And my favorite book is A Movable Feast.
I guess that makes sense, yeah. Well, ready for me, tits. I'm gonna rock out with my cock out. You're gonna jam out with your clam out. It's gonna be magic. Boys are on you, fellas.
Jam out with your clam out. I haven't heard that one.
Are you okay? What the hell is going on here? That trick fucking branded me!
Bring it.
He has a branded iron in his hand.
Hell.
What are you doing? Come on. Neil. What about Neil?
I'm watching this movie tonight.
I think after watching the original movie, I really wanted to get White Castle,
Yeah.
like everyone else probably did. But every time you go to White Castle, it's just disappointing. He wanted to be this really good, like.
Hurry up! Hurry up! Come on, man! Guys! Alright, hurry up! Hurry up! Hurry up! Come on, guys! Hurry up! Hey, hurry up! It's not even funny. Hurry up, dude! Hurry up! Neil, make it, dude!
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh my god! Neil's dead! No! Get the fuck out of here!
Go, dude. What are you doing? I like how she just casually was like, the gal that got branded wasn't like sitting there all hurt. Like, that hurts. That would hurt. So like a fourth degree, like a third degree burn or something like that would hurt like hell.
Am I still sharing? Did I kill it? Yeah. I'm not sharing anymore, am I?
No, you're not.
Yeah, they should make branding like a fad for married couples.
I'm sure that there's couples who do it.
Oh yeah, it could go both ways, but it just shows that you're really committed, right? There is no opting out like a year, 2 years later. "Oh, I wasn't happy. There is no starter husbands. F that. No, like this is for life. So that's it.
Hmm.
I do not want to work today.
You want to submit some
I have
talks to that
unlimited time
conference?
off. Like now, I have yet to take a day off. Do I want to work?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I said, do you want to submit some talks to that conference too? Maybe we'll both get picked and we can meet up in Cleveland
Or Sandusky,
or
right?
at the Sandusky. Yeah. I don't know. I probably won't get picked.
I
I
don't.
got selected the first 2 times I submitted to conferences, but never had luck after that.
I have no interest in. There's nothing that fascinates me right now that I could think of in regards to programming. That doesn't mean I don't have my preferred language and I have my way of writing code, but
Well, yeah, you could just submit the most plain Jane talk you could think of then, like F sharp for C sharp developers or F
if I
sharp for VB developers.
I would probably be like who's that person that you claim doesn't like you or you don't like him? What's his name? He's in Seattle.
Is it Jeremy Clark or something like that?
He he enjoys DevRel or developer relations. Ted Neward.
Oh,
Ted
Ted
Neward.
Neward. I don't know
Yeah.
that he doesn't like. He doesn't even probably know who I am. I got in a scuffle with him and some other people about a Trump or like press conference or something a long
um,
time ago. But
I talked to him on the phone like 3 months ago, and he recommended a book to me. And I started reading the book, and the book was geared towards angry middle-aged white men that feel like they're losing their country. And he recommended that I read that because I sounded very angry and white. So
oh, what's the book called?
I could try to find it. It was a dry read. I didn't get past the first chapter.
See, like I don't see. I don't have any sort of anger or anything. Like I think things work just fine. You know, I don't get the whole angry bit, and I don't think of like most people that are in the that are around me at being that. I have a pretty like optimistic look at even like people get mad like Congress
Yeah.
doesn't do anything. It's like, well, that's by design. We don't want them to do anything. We
So
want like that's working perfectly if they don't do anything.
it's called. Give me a second. Stiffed. The roots of modern male rage. That's the book,
Well, gotcha.
and the cover is this right here.
Should have made it like a big like looking dick on there. Stiffed. That would sell it. Put some balls on there.
I'm not sure if that would show up in libraries.
Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe, although you never know today, because if you try to put porn in a kid's thing and then you try to ban it, it's book banning. So
You remember where they used to have bookstores?
there's still bookstores.
Well, there's no bookstores. There's no Barnes and Nobles. What was the other one? They were like competing bookstores. Barnes and Noble.
There's Barnes and Nobles still.
No, there's not.
Yes, there is. There's one in the Mall of America. There's one in St. Cloud, just south of me. And then there's small book. Like our town has a small time bookstore, like
Mm.
a mom and pop type bookstore called Cattails. Used to be a book world.
I
I
can't
know what
remember.
you're talking about though. It was Barnes and Noble, and
There
there
was
was one
two of
other
them.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the other one? Oh God, Barnes and Noble competitors.
Like Amazon, man, Amazon destroyed that sector.
Well, I don't know. There's still kind of like something about going to. They have to obviously. Barnes and Noble had to like diversify. It's not just books. There's something nice to go to
Well,
a store and
this
like be
right
able to.
here, think of all the ways that this thing right here has created barriers to just meeting strangers in public,
Oh,
right?
Borders, maybe Borders.
Borders, thank you, borders.
Yeah, there it was.
So, like, you could be at the mall, you could. This is my other pet peeve about a culture. You can go to a black mall that has like a
A
borders
Black
or
Mall?
yes, that has like a border. You know what? You've been in a black mall before, right?
No, I don't go to black malls.
You know what a black mall is?
A black mall?
Yeah.
Is it a mall painted black?
A black mall is a mall that's predominantly baby clothes and athletic shoes.
Oh, we had ours. Our mall was not like there's no black people around, but it was a shoe mall because there's like literally
And with a whole
5
bunch
shoe
of
stores.
Indian kiosks.
No,
That's
we
a
don't
black
have.
mall.
I don't know. The town I live in just hasn't been like I would say the next to white. I would assume Asian has got to be our next most dominant
Yeah.
because I just don't see anyone from
So a
other.
mall goes from like predominantly white to then the next phase is 50-50 white and black, and then the next phase is predominantly black, and then the next phase is like just a parking lot use, and it's just closed down, and then they just bulldoze it. It's usually like I would argue a 15-year lifespan, of a mall in Cleveland and probably Detroit and any other like urban area.
Hmm.
But anyways, I would just I would just be disappointed when I'll be at I'll be at a black mall and I'll go to the bookstore like a Barnes and Noble or Borders. Inside the bookstore, there's no black people, just white and Jewish people. And I was just like, that's not good. Like, it's terrible. Our culture is effed up. So
So what you're saying is, if Barnes and Noble wants to make it, they need to diversify into shoes. Then they'll be solid.
no, if Barnes and Noble needs to make it, then they need to make sure that when a mall gets to the phase of being primarily black clientele, it's time to get out because they don't really invest in knowledge. They don't invest in self improvement. They don't read up on history in general. That's not what that culture does.
Well,
So
you do. So what are
I have
how do you?
Irish in me.
Oh, so you identify as white now.
Plus, I was raised in a cult, so I'm wired a little. I'm wired differently.
Hmm. So what you're saying is that all black people should be raised in cults.
I'm not saying all.
Why aren't there are
And
there any successful black
and
cult leaders?
I'm talking about American black. I'm not talking about Caribbean. I'm not talking
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah. You're talking about yeah, um, yeah. Are there any successful black cult leaders?
Yeah. Who's that? Makes me wanna stomp. Who's that? You know what I'm talking about,
No,
right?
I don't know who you're talking about.
He was that gospel entertainer. I
I
want the
now
I
I'm thinking of
the
Cedric
funk,
the Entertainer,
the
but no.
whole funk, nothing but the funk. Like I would argue, and again, this is me probably just being funny, but I think a lot of black pastors used to be like ex pimps and just women
And
manipulators or
they got old
womanizers.
enough. They're like,
Because I mean, that's what church is
gotta
for the
find the
most part.
Lord.
Church is predominantly women that want to be
Yeah, it's a
sold
social
a
club.
dream,
Well, it's a
and
social club mostly.
well, it's
Actually, most churches are social clubs.
that, and you're continuously fed things that are illogical because it makes you feel better.
Yeah, I
And
mean the entire yeah,
women are number one clientele for that.
yeah. It's because faith is the ultimate, is the pinnacle of it. Is the core concept within at least Christian religions, anyways. And faith is built on the idea of being illogical. The
It's
point of it.
belief without evidence
Yeah, it's
that benefits you. That's
it's
what faith is.
pure it's pure irrational. It's pure irrational thought, and that's the point of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should read or look up
Al Sharpton.
Kierkegaard. Talks about how Abraham and how how it's completely irrational. That's what faith is. You have to believe fully in something that you have no reason to believe in, or you have a reason not to.
So do I have faith? I'm pretty sure I do.
I don't know. The more I look at man, the more I
I
think
can't think
sin.
of an example right now though. Like I have faith that
'Cause you gotta have faith,
I ha-
faith,
I have
faith,
faith that I won't be
faith.
homeless for more than 1 year. I don't
That's
have
not
any
an
evidence.
irrational belief, though,
Why isn't it?
because that's based on evidence and stuff like that you have
What
before you.
evidence? When war comes, I could totally be homeless for
Yeah,
more
but
than
you're
a year.
you're you're just basing it yeah, but you could just take someone's home then in war. You just grab that katana behind you and just
Well, I'm scared of guns, so if I'm going to commit violence, it's going to be a lot harder for me to dominate
that's why
someone
you got
else's
you got a sword.
resources.
Just,
A sword can't stop bullets. Only Darth Vader and his lightsaber. His lightsaber, Saber.
didn't Deadpool did that in Wolverine in one of the Wolverine movies. Then he tried it again in his actual it didn't work.
Yeah,
Anyways, the yeah. Anyways, good.
I'm avoiding going to work. You know, like I like guys avoid coming home after work because they don't want to come home to their wives and they just have all this anxiety. I feel that way right now.
Yeah. No, that's what I then maybe see I don't have anxiety about going to work. I just like I'm just not fired up about anything like I wish I was. Like in the past I've always found something in jobs to just get really excited about and a year in, man, I'm just there's just nothing that I like nothing to get up for. There's only one time that I worked on something that I was really engaged with and then now it's just like I don't know. Had it's funny because I had like my mid-year review, which was like my year review, and like I got this one bit of feedback, and I just couldn't. I'm like I'm just like shaking my head at it because one of the feedback was like big picture thinking, like should think about like impact to developers and learnings by bringing in different packages and stuff like that. And I'm like, I've literally not brought anything in. I brought one thing in like this entire time. Like I haven't made any impact on the way that our back end is, especially, but even our front end is structured in terms of bringing in packages, except for one thing, which I talked about with many people at a time. I put a big post about it and said we can slowly try to this or not. We can whatever, which is bring in mediator because I really like that kind of structure with separating versus services or whatever. And here I get this thing saying I need to like think about the bigger picture about and it's just bothering me because I'm like I don't know where this comment comes from. Like
That's
is it
why
literally I make one contribution to the nature of it and
oh,
I'm getting called out about not thinking about like this is one of the most widely used packages in like the .NET space. It's like if you so I'm just like
that's why I'm not attracted to. I won't say that. That's one of the things that I don't like about being a full time employee is you have like these performance reviews in which I'm not really interested in people's opinion of me. Like
yeah.
I just want to build and solve problems.
Yeah, yeah. I hate the constant push to like, what do you want to do or where do you want to take it? And I know that they're doing that because a lot of people care about it. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't like. I probably wouldn't with what is it, 15 years under my belt. I probably wouldn't be where I was if I knew what I wanted to do. Like, I wouldn't be stuck in senior track if I wanted to do X, Y, and Z. It's like I can't imagine myself being beyond what I am now in the software world. It's just I don't know. There's just too much either comms that you have to do or managing people just looks stupid. I don't know. I'm gonna be stuck in this for a while. I'll become slowly unemployable.
Yeah, we should be
Hopefully,
bounty hunters.
yeah. Just start our own organization. Just let's start a SaaS product that's simple. I'll build the front end, you build the back end if you want to do that way.
No, thank you. All right, I guess I need to man up and
Yeah, already. I
clock in.
guess. So next week I'm at a campsite again. I think I'm gonna bring my laptop though and try to work because this place that we're going to, like I tried this once before a couple weeks ago, and like my brother-in-law and sister-in-law and their family all came the same day, so it was a little hard to try to like focus on work. But I think they're coming the day after this time, so I'll try. Anyways, I'll try to connect up. I'll check the internet when I get out there, and I'll message you if I can't make it.
Yeah,
Unless you want to just plan on Thursday next week, you can do that too.
whatever's convenient for you. So,
But right,
Gamlor is boycotting me right now. So,
no, I think he just probably is like 2 weeks of being off. Like maybe they're not coming back.
yeah,
Maybe Sean or Scott finally
maybe one of
bit
them
the
died.
bullet. Yeah, in memoriam. So
There you go. Hey,
all right.
thanks.
Yep.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Yep. See you. Bye.
Yeah.